Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the Bibs Corner podcast, episode 21 and the first playoff edition. Just coming off the Mavs loss here against the Clippers and what was a very tough game. We got off to a horrible start. I think we were down 18-2 in the first couple of minutes. Just came out, got hit in the mouth. The Clippers were firing on all cylinders. The Mavs were incredibly nervous and tight, and that could be expected. This is their first playoff together. Eventually, we settled in, and we made a game of it. It was a good game, start to finish, as expected. I think the Clippers came into this one expecting it to be easy. Thought that we were sweet, and now they know that it's gonna be a fight every single night. Luka's not backing down. The team's not backing down. It was fun to see some guys step up. We set the tone defensively, really, when MKG came in. Specifically, I think Maxey got a couple early stupid little fouls and had to come out, but MKG came in, and, one of my keys to the game, or to the series really, was not giving up those easy baskets inside. And on a few of those drives where guys got switches and thought they were going to the rim for layups, MKG would come over and just cut off the drive. It was beautiful. That was one of my favorite things about this game, is that we didn't give up those easy points like usual. There were a couple plays, of course, where they got a couple easy ones, but for the most part, that was cut out of the game. And that's, if we can continue to do that, we've got a good chance to make some noise here in the series. After the rough start from Luka, I think he had 4 turnovers in the first couple of minutes. He settled down and started doing the things that I was aware that he could do. Just basically getting wherever he wants on the court and facilitating for others and for himself. Seth came off the bench in this game. Maxey got the start. Again, 2 keys that I wanted to see. And Seth came out firing, which is what we needed to see. Guys were hitting shots tonight to start, at least. It cooled off dramatically in the second half, but again, we kept it tight the entire game. It was beautiful. The one thing that happened in this game that was not beautiful was the KP ejection. I think it was Marcus Morris. Got mixed it up a little bit with, is it Marcus or Markieff? I don't even remember which one is on the Clippers. Whatever. But the Morris brother got tangled up with Luka, and KP saw that and stepped up for his guy. I just watched the post-game interview where KP said, I saw such and such talking to Luka, and I'm not going to allow that. So love that energy from him. Wish he had thought about the fact that he already had a tech. But again, I love that energy, just showing that he's there. We do need a designated goon for those type of situations going forward, though, please. Oh, and by the way, you hate that call there. I feel like the refs should have found a way to do a double warning or something rather than going to the tech in that situation to ruin a playoff game. And then the early techs on both, I believe it was PG, and then the one on KP for complaining about a call in the playoffs when emotions are already heightened because it's a playoff game. Plus all the emotional stress that they're going through in this bubble scenario where they're away from their families and things like that. I joked, but I'm halfway serious about getting the refs earplugs, because they're hearing things that they normally wouldn't hear and possibly overreacting to normal reactions to being surprised by a call you didn't expect. So that's something to watch going forward, something I've been worried about the entire bubble, and I really hope it doesn't put a damper on these playoffs. Not just the KP ejection, but just as a whole, because that's going to happen in other games going forward. I think the thing that hurt me the most about KP's ejection is actually the fact that we still have not gotten to see him close a game, really. I believe he fouled out of the last game against the Clippers as well. So I really want to see him at the end of a game in a tight situation in the playoffs. I'm hoping we get that opportunity next game. We shall see. This is going to be a long, cold open, so I'm just preparing you for that. Luka Doncic. So Luka was Luka, and it's hard for me to be a guy who is, oh my God, Luka, oh, he's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. I can't do it. I really can't do it because these are the things that I've come to expect of him. Is it fair? Maybe not, but this is what I expect from him. And you could say, Mike, this is he just set a playoff record for a guy in his first playoff game. I understand that. That's great. I'm not surprised, though. And, I feel like I have to address the fact that I'm so nonchalant about Luka performances. Again, he's amazing. We know that. That's a given. The fact that I came into this game, I never even mentioned having a doubt about Luka's performance in this game. The idea never crossed my mind of Luka having a bad game. It just won't happen. It just is not. It's so far from the realm of possibility for me. He's this great at this stage of his career. He just has to gain the experience and go through the trials. But he is what he is. You know what I mean? He's at the top of the league for a reason. He's probably going to finish 4th or 5th in MVP voting for a reason. He'll probably be even higher next year because of what he's about to do in these playoffs. He's going to have earned that respect. It's actually comical how confident I am in Luka performing, having his 30-plus, almost 10 assists, almost 10 rebounds every night, like easily. Like that's roll out of bed type stuff. It's what he does in the big moments that's really going to determine how great he actually is. He's a great player, but I mean greatness on the scale of people comparing you to the legends type stuff. So for me, it's all about the little details, the little moments. It's the stats are going to be there. That's not even a question. And again, crazy to even say that, especially given who we're playing, knowing that he's playing against two guys that can actually defend him on a physical man-to-man standpoint, and a guy in Beverly who's just a pest that can get up under you and frustrate you basically and get you out of your game. So again, just the poise, the consistency of Luka Doncic is special, and I do feel like I need to address that just for people that are wondering why I don't spend a lot of time on addressing how great Luka is. Like I said, my favorite thing about this game was that we didn't give up the easy baskets. We did play our bigs. Boban played over 12 minutes. How much of that was KP being fouled out? I don't care. He played a lot of minutes. MKG had great minutes in the first half. Didn't see him much in the second half. Kind of concerned about what that means. Maybe it was just trying to conserve minutes things and then just watching the way the game was flowing for Carlisle. We'll see going forward. And we'll go player by player on things that I saw tonight once we get into the meat of the podcast. Last thing I kind of want to address in this cold open. The refs were some hoes. Okay? But we knew the refs were going to be hoes coming into this playoff scenario. The goal is to go into the games with that in mind, knowing that we're going to get some BS calls, that they're not going to mostly be in our favor, that the scales of justice will lean towards the other team in these playoff scenarios, and we have to know that we have to be better than the other team and allow for a 10-point type swing just by the refs being hoes. So I'm not going to sit here and say the refs stole the game, because the refs did what their refs were going to do in this one. The KP situation, they couldn't plan for that necessarily, but we were going to get some stuff to go against us, and that is what it is. Is it fair? Probably not, but this is the way the NBA goes. This is 2006 Dirk not understanding that, and 2011 Dirk and the Mavs realizing we got to beat them and the refs and not leaving anything to chance. And that's who we are as a team and a franchise, and that's just what we have to know going forward. With that said, I'll be back after the break. Try to catch my breath, to take a sip of this water, and we'll go through these stats. All right, welcome back to the Bibbs Corner podcast. Like I said, this is episode 21 and the first playoff edition of the post-game recaps. I just listened to the Rick Carlisle post-game press conference, and it's clear like the NBA TV guys are all very hyped by this game as well. Amazing game to cap off the night. A good day of playoff basketball. But let's get into the numbers for this game. So first of all, I have to address Luka as always. 42.7 boards, 9 assists, 13 for 21 from the field, 14 for 15 from the free throw line, and 2 for 6 from 3. I literally could not have scripted a more perfect line for Luka. Besides the 12 turnovers, we'll worry about that another time. That's neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. They weren't, in my opinion, there weren't any really bad plays. I think early on he was expecting fouls in soft situations, but I think he adjusted to that over the course of the game. But 21 shots, 13 out of 21 made them. 2 for 6 from 3. As I've said a few podcasts ago, that is the 3-point shot line that I want to see from Luka. Not taking a ton of threes, but taking enough to keep the defense honest and hitting a couple. 33%, 2 for 6. That's all I want from Luka. Perfect. 15 free throws. I said I wanted 30 free throws from Luka and KP, so Luka got his. He got inside at will, as I said in my scouting report, was something that needed to happen. The Clippers played it straight up every single time. Rarely double teams, especially not on the drive. Tried to stay home on shooters for the most part. But when they sagged or reached, he was ready. And he hit guys. He's made a couple passes that shouldn't have even been able to be caught. Couple of them turned into points. Couple of them didn't. Guys will probably be more ready next time. So Luka did his thing. He did what he was supposed to do. Stepped up on the defensive end as well, as expected. There were a couple plays where he kind of had those off the ball watching, but he responded quickly by rushing back to his man. Wasn't just standing there like he has done in the regular season. So clearly he was dialed in. The defensive intensity was there from him. You love to see it. This is clearly just the beginning. There's so much more that he's going to be doing for us going forward. Second guy I'm going to talk about is THJ. He came out tonight, gave us 18 and 6. He was 7 for 16 from the field, 4 for 11 from 3. He kind of started great and then cooled off later, which he had a couple plays down the stretch of the game that were just bad. I'm not going to hold a couple bad plays against a guy, but it was tough to watch in the moment. Especially one, I think there was a fast break where he tried to like split two guys and put up, I don't know what he was doing, but got to be smarter than that in those situations. But anyway, he gave us 18 points, put up 16 shots. It is what it is. DFS was kind of quiet in this one. 9 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals. He was 4 for 9 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3. We talked about this. And actually, you know what? Let me get Maxey in there. He only had 3 points tonight, 6 boards, 1 assist. He was also 1 of 5 from 3. Those two guys have to hit those open threes. They are not being defended as hard as a lot of other guys. Guys are going to close out on them, of course, because they don't expect them to put the ball on the floor, and they probably shouldn't be putting the ball on the floor. But they have to do better than 1 of 5 for me. They have to hit 2, 3 apiece. They have to split their free throws, those two guys, almost. Or not their free throws, the 3-pointers almost. At least get me 2 out of the 5. On the other end of the court, however, Maxey especially did their jobs defensively. I think he had to adjust also to the way the refs were calling the game. Early on, he got a lot of little stupid fouls, but late in the game, he was doing what he was supposed to do. You could see that Kawhi was tired of working hard to score on him and starting his runs from further out, like I mentioned previously, and just not being able to do exactly what he wanted to do. Obviously, he's an amazing basketball player. I call him Kawhi Jordan for a reason. Maxey was all over him, hand almost touching his face, and Kawhi's just knocking him in. But that's what we have to hope for. The alternative was Kawhi putting DFS in the rim, and that we couldn't afford. So if Maxey does what he did tonight, we just have to hope that Kawhi misses a couple more next time. DFS, same thing on Paul George. I was glad both of them were aggressive in whether or not it was fighting over screens or just after a screen working to get back onto their man and just leaving whoever the other guy is open. That's key. We can't deal with certain other guys guarding those two if we can avoid it. So beautiful defense on them. Need them to hit a couple more shots next time. And then the other starter was KP. So yes, KP, Maxey, DFS, THJ, Luka. My desired lineup is what we ended up going with. KP ended up with 14 points, 6 boards, and a block in 19 minutes and 49 seconds, which is probably about half of what he was going to end up playing. He probably would have played a lot of minutes down the stretch. I don't want to say half, but almost half, a little bit more than half. He was 3 for 9 from the field, 7 for 8 from the line, 1 of 4 from 3. I can't complain too much about what he did. There was only 1 3 I didn't like that he took. We didn't get the opportunity to use him as much or in the ways that I would have liked to see. I think maybe in the second game we'll be a little bit more settled in and get to see him in those spots. One of my goals for the game was to have KP and Luka, like I said, shoot 30 free throws. With KP fouling out, or getting ejected, I should say, in the third quarter, we got to 23, and there's a good possibility we would have ended up getting to that 30 had he not been ejected. As for the bench, Seth Curry came off the bench firing. He ended up with 14 points, 3 boards, 2 steals. He was 5 for 11 from the field, 4 from 8 from 3. Only took 1 shot that was bad on a 4-on-2 break. He pulled up for a 3 when we didn't have really guys in position and get his rebound if he missed. Don't like that. Could have gotten a little better of a shot, or waited for guys to get in position for the rebound before he launched that shot. But one of my keys was for Seth and THJ to give us 30. They gave us 32 tonight, so they did their jobs. Also off the bench, the guard position. So the guy backing up Luka when Luka is out. They tried Delon at first. He came out and didn't really do much. Played like a little biatch, and he never came back. Trey Burke, however, only scored 2 points, even though it felt like he did more. He was 1 of 5, but he was aggressive and active on both ends, and that's what you have to be. The results, whatever. If you're attacking, you're making the Clippers work on defense, that you're doing your job. And he made a couple plays on the defensive end as well, which, again, you like to see. He was definitely locked in and excited for this game. I saw him on the bench. He was up out of his seat, like leaning over the rail. I think he's really cementing himself as a guy going forward. And Jalen Brunson better watch out. Who else? So then we got our big men. Boban, I think I had said that he was going to play 15 minutes in this series minimum because I just expected that we'd use him. He ended up playing 12 minutes tonight. How much of that was because of KP getting ejected, I don't know. But 2 points, 8 boards, and an assist. He was literally abused during the game. I think JaMychal Green threw his body into him sideways, literally knocked him down. Like, Boban doesn't want to be on the ground, but he was on the ground, and just the refs, I guess, didn't realize a human flew into him. I don't know. He was grabbed and held a few times. Patrick Beverley literally climbed him at one point to get a rebound. I wish there were like sensors on his jerseys that let them know how much contact he was receiving when he gets hit. Regardless, I don't think we used him as effectively as we could have. A couple of those plays we didn't really have a point guard in, so they didn't know how to feed him. But then, like, there were plays where he had, I think, Reggie Jackson on him at one point, and they couldn't get him the ball, or they got it to him, like, super late. There were a few times where guys got in off a pick and roll and then passed the ball at chest level to him when his hands are up and nobody can reach his hands. Like, put the ball over the top to him. That's literally all you have to do. Throw it over the top. He'll grab it. Nobody can get up there with him. And, good things usually happen in that scenario. So, got to see some guys make smarter decisions when he's there to utilize him and make sure that he's punishing the other team for not being big enough to guard him. And then finally, the other guy who played, MKG, hit 2 3-pointers in the first half. I don't know where that came from, and I definitely don't expect to see that ever again in life. Excellent D in the first half, like I mentioned, stopping those easy layups, which is exactly why I wanted to see him and Boban in the game. We did not give up many of those, especially when they were in. We only played a minimal amount of time with a small lineup, and that's, again, what I wanted to see, what we have to do in this series. And then the most key lineup decision was Justin Jackson staying his cheeks on the bench, parked, keeping that seat extra warm. Beautiful, love to see it. The guys who played were the guys that deserved to play. We'll probably see DeLon again just because we have to ride that out. But I think so far, if I had to say guys that are proving themselves expendable, DeLon is at the top of the list. And I would not be surprised if he is on the block as soon as this playoff series is over. And I could come back tomorrow and he has 15 points off the bench. Or not tomorrow. The next podcast, and he has 15 points off the bench and I have to take it back. But based on his play in the bubble, that is highly unlikely. The defensive game plan was on point. Beautiful. Executed to perfection. We lost the game by 8 points. We lost our second best player early in the third. Who's to know how this game would have turned out had that not occurred? I don't know, man. I think the team is going to come out of this game feeling like they should have won. And I think the energy in the second game is going to be different from both teams. I hope our team is ready for the adjustments that the Clippers make. But either way, I'm excited for this series. Do not care how it all plays out. I'm loving what I'm seeing from these guys. Luka is putting the league on notice. And I think Carlisle, even in his press conferences and the way he coached this game, I think he's back alive. So that's exciting to see. And man, that's really all I have to say about this game. I wasn't going to do questions, but at the last minute I put out some feelers. I got a few questions that I'm going to knock out here. So I'm going to take another quick break and I'll be right back. All right, and we are back. Like I said, I'm only answering a few questions. I picked 5 that were thrown at me. Some serious, some maybe not so serious. But let's get to it. All right, so the Don Luka asked, if he's going to play so little, should we save MKG for the 3rd and 4th or keep it how it is? So to that's actually a hard question to answer. I think that Rick's hand was kind of forced in this game between Maxey getting the early fouls and then KP fouling out. He kind of just had to go with the flow, if you will. I don't know if MKG was tired in the second half or, again, Rick just kind of had to do what he had to do. I think it's probably going to be pretty fluid going forward as well. I do expect to see him get minutes as well as Boban, but I think it's just going to be determined by the flow of the game, who's getting fouls and things of that nature. I think a steady diet of MKG and Maxey on Kawhi is what needs to happen, and that's pretty much how I would play it personally. We'll see what Rick does going forward. The next question comes from @RobertHassan41. His question is, who can truly guard Luka? It seems the best defense in the NBA let him have 42 points just like that. Like I said, when it comes down to it, I expect Luka to do 30 minimum easy every night. I don't think that there's any one individual that can guard him. I think that most teams know that by now. And the key is more so to make sure he's limited as far as getting everyone else involved. I think that's a big part of why he didn't get double-digit assists tonight, between that and the missed shots, of course, but also the 12 turnovers is just, they know what he wants to do. They're not going to double. They're going to let him get loose, and he has to pick his spots as far as being a facilitator. I can't remember. I think it was the Pistons back in the day with Ben Wallace, Rasheed, all them, where they let LeBron pretty much do whatever he wanted and then just tried to key in on everybody else. And it wasn't until a certain point when LeBron realized that and just started going off offensively himself. So Luka's got to do a good bit of that, like he did tonight with the 42 points. And, of course, recognize it earlier probably next time. And I think that's going to be the key next game, is if they're going to play me like this, then I just have to keep going for it every single time until they make a change. And when they make a change, then I capitalize on that. And he's smart enough. I think that's one of the things that is impressive and things that needs to be talked about with how smart Luka is at diagnosing what the other team is doing to him and reacting to it. And I think Rick mentioned that in his post-game press conference as well. Like, he's been around so long, he's seen it all type of thing as far as defensive coverages and things of that nature. So if somebody has to like guard him for one possession, I'm sure there's plenty of guys that can do it. They'll probably sit back and let him shoot a three or force him to shoot a three if they can. But if you're going to play him tight, he's definitely going by you every single time, one way or another, or you're going to foul him. So that's obviously going to be a win for him. The next question comes from D Meredith 28. He asked, did legs get weary in the second half on the three ball, or was it the physicality of the defense wearing on them? I don't know if it was either. I think that things got very real in the second half, and some guys were trying to step up too hard, trying to do too much, and not letting the game come to them so much. Hopefully they'll be a little bit more settled in this second game. As far as like legs being weary, I think a lot of those misses were long, if I'm not mistaken, from guys. So it was just a matter of settling in, being locked in, focused, calming down, and just playing basketball. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just basketball. Of course, the stakes are higher, but the concept is simple. Put the biscuit in the basket and keep the other team from doing that. Next question, and I think I'm down to the last two. So this one comes from Zach T. Brave Neck, and that's Zach T. BraveNEC. He said, who breaks the playoff single game point record this playoffs? And offenses have been firing on all cylinders in these playoffs. If I had to pick somebody, I feel like this is a cheap, lazy choice, but I probably would say Dame will be number one on my list, just because he's going to have to put forth a ridiculous effort to get a W against the Lakers, and we just saw him score 61 the other day. And, I mean, literally we just saw him because he did it against us. But I think he's capable. I think he's been scoring at a ridiculous clip all season for stretches of the season. So we know he's the type of guy to do that. We'll see. I'm sure they're going to put Danny Green on him and try to be physical with him and use that bigger defender. But I don't think that's going to work out the way some may think it will. So he's number one, and then James Harden will be number two. I think he's probably going to get a similar treatment that Luka has gotten tonight, as far as one-on-one, let him do whatever he wants and don't let everybody else beat you type coverage from the Thunder. I think Billy Donovan is going to bring that college coaching degree out on us, and it's going to be interesting to see how those two teams match up. That's kind of how I would defend Harden as well, and Harden is much more likely to embrace that and just go for it on the scoring side. And then finally, call me Huey. I'm going to put him on the sick and shut-in list. Clearly the brother needs prayer. He asked, who is the most trash player on the team and why is it Maxey? It's hard when you see a brother with so much potential fall from grace the way Huey has. Between the over-the-top thirst for sports female journalists who then have to call him out on Twitter for looking at them as objects instead of appreciating their talents as journalists, to now calling one of the most important players on the team trash. It's just it's hard to see, like I said, all we can do is pray for the brother. I'll probably reach out via DM to, to ask if he needs, some guidance from an older gentleman that has been there and can kind of guide him, because like I said, it's from the outside looking in, it's hard, but to watch. But I don't want to judge. If I'm gonna talk about it, I'd rather address it directly and just try to be an ear to listen and hear what he's going through and try to get him on the right path again. Again, a talented young brother. You hate to see things like this come from an individual. It's you know what? Let's have a moment of silence actually for Huey and other people like him who maybe are going through something and lashing out in this way. Let's have a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Huey, I'll be praying for you, brother. I'm going to reach out, like I said, via DM, and we could talk about it. And with that, this has been yet another edition of the Bibbs Corner podcast. Hit me up on Twitter at Bibbs Corner with feedback as always. Thank you all for the support. Again, I'm overwhelmed anytime I wake up and see a new listen. The plan still stands. As long as I get one listen, I'm going to keep going. So all I need is one of y'all to hit that button, and I'm happy. Subscribe, of course, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. I haven't pushed this enough, but if you go to the Anchor link or the Anchor page, you can go to my website, bibbscorner.com. Under the Sports tab, go to Bibbs Corner Podcast, or I think I actually might have put it in its own tab. Just go to the Bibbs Corner Podcast link and go to the Anchor link, and there's actually a place where you can, a link you can click to send like an audio message. So I'll be looking to check my bell box for those types of things. I'm also going to be making an appearance tomorrow, or if you're listening to this tomorrow, it's coming out today. I'm going to be making a guest appearance on a podcast with the Mr. Douglas. I'm trying to buy time to get to his account real quick so I can get the actual name of the podcast. That would probably be a positive move here. I think it is just the Mr. Douglas. So yeah, on YouTube at the Mr. Douglas sports show. We talked about the playoffs, expectations for the series that are coming up. For each series, we went and did a deep dive on the Clippers and Mavs. We did our top 5 guys under the most pressure for these playoffs. A whole lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed that. And he'll probably be on here eventually. We'll have to pick a game. But man, I've had fun doing this, and I have fun doing that podcast. So I'll post a link to that as well. Hit me up if you can't find it. But again, another edition of the Bibbs Corner podcast. I'm just talking in circles now. Thank you all again for checking in, and I will catch you next time. Peace.